As we go around, when you introduce yourself, just look at, let's talk about one, as you're saying, one reason you invest your time in networking in this community or other communities. And it doesn't have to be anything magical or, but just what comes to your mind as you go through and you're investing your time, your most valuable asset, as I always say, in in networking. Okay, is that reasonable? So let's go around, and I'm going to mute everybody, and then I'll bring you back on individually. Jeff, I'm even going to give you, even though you're
I
speaking,
always want to do a commercial. Yeah.
I'm going to let I'm going to go ahead and let you as well, because I know you like to do that. I do know you well enough to know you like to do that. So not every speaker does. So with that, Bill Harrison, you get to go first. So give it your best shot, brother. Need to unmute though first.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I tried. It wasn't working there for a second. My name is Bill Harrison. I'm a spiritual entrepreneur, life coach, award-winning author, and a public speaker. I enable people to fulfill their God-ordained destiny by helping them learn more about who they are, what their purpose in life is, through a process that I call spiritual entrepreneurship. And I do as much networking as I possibly can in different areas, preferably face to face, so you can look people in the eye when you talk to them. And just trying to let them know that if they're not happy with their situation, that there is a better answer, and I can help you find it.
Okay. So your purpose really is to bringing understanding and people's awareness of you, as well as helping them navigate that. Okay.
Yeah, to let them know what I've experienced, and the fact that they can experience the same thing.
Awesome. Okay. Good. There's no wrong answer here. It's just where it is with you. I'm going to skip Electric for a second just to give him a chance to settle in, since I just saw him walk up to the computer. And I'm going to go to Don Huff, who's always ready.
Ready for what?
By the way, Don, you're doing your 30 seconds, and then one goal that you hope to achieve out of your investment in networking.
Oh, we're networking, huh?
Okay.
Don Huff, graphic design and illustration. I design and illustrate information that communicates, educates, inspires, and entertains. This week, that looks like a logo for a new nonprofit that helps teachers stay healthy in body, mind, and soul. The inspiration behind the teacher. I love happy customers. So that's what I hope to get out of networking, is happy customers.
All right.
Thank you, Dave.
Good job, Don.
Randy.
Okay. Lloyd, good to see you back, brother. You want to unmute and answer, do your thing?
Yeah, so Lloyd Dobson with ACN, providing services that people need and use every day, including phone, wireless, electricity, merchant services, and a few other things. Great referrals from me are going to be, are going to be small business owners and parents. What do I hope to get out of networking? What I want to do is have a positive impact on the people that I meet in networking. Be it just me introducing them to someone that's going to help them grow their business, or whatever, or they join my business, or they become my customer, I become their customer. It's about win-win. So that's me. Thank you.
Thanks, Lloyd.
I'm gonna stop video so I can eat lunch.
Okay.
And it's Lloyd's birthday before he goes away.
Happy birthday, Lloyd.
Thank you.
What? Woo. Happy, joy, happy, joy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got a little dance there from Don. That's good. Okay, Jason Madden.
All right, so my name is Jason Madden. I own a company called Mad Logic. So there's two ways that we spend our time. It's to kind of grow and sustain our business, and then everything else that supports it. So I help companies build automation so that the percentage of time that you spend building and growing your business is more than what you do to just kind of maintain it. So my kind of purpose for networking is there's so many SEO and kind of web-based tools out there that you don't have to interact with anyone. But part of kind of like working and growing a business is the relationships you build with people. So I just kind of like to be a good resource to help people brainstorm about issues and kind of give the human element to my technical kind of business, and yeah, just get my name out there with people locally in the community. So
Great. Thanks, Jason. Good job. All right. Okay, Jeff.
Hey, everybody, Jeff Klein here. I am a speaker and trainer, and I help people choose the words they use so that other people will care when they listen to them. Everything from the elevator pitch to keynote addresses in front of thousands. Also help folks with that fear of speaking and overcoming that to the point where they can be speakers. So the thing I'd like to achieve through networking is I would like to have national and international attendees to my 30 Seconds to Success custom classes, in-person classes.
Awesome. All right. Good job, Jeff. And we get to hear more from Jeff here in a minute. John Moore, go ahead. John, you need to unmute, brother.
There we go. I'm John Moore, an independent associate with Legal Shield. We have a portfolio of services to protect your legal rights and identities for families, small businesses, commercial drivers, and also employees. And I'm constantly looking. Ours is a membership that allows you as a business owner access to top law firms in both all 50 states and every province in Canada. But I am right now. I'm looking to expand my business. I'm looking for partners to share in the mission of providing liberty, equality, and justice that every human being deserves. And also a good connection for me is someone that's looking to develop a plan B. The reason that I am in networking, that I do networking, is just to meet people, get to know people. I'm like Bill. I prefer doing it face to face, but in today's environment, that's a little tougher to do. But just building up the relationships and developing the camaraderie, if you will, coming into this group, it's really refreshing because I've got 8 people or 9 people that know me, and we can laugh and joke, and that's something that's hard to find these days. Again, I'm John Moore with Legal Shield.
Great. Thanks, John. Okay, we'll keep moving. Marv, if you want to speak, open your mic. If you don't, I know you're having voice issues, so if I don't see your mic open up, then I'm going to go ahead and go on past you. But let me jump to Randy. Randy, you're up.
Hi, Randy Sablik. Most everybody here knows me. I'm a business growth consultant. What do? I work with you, brainstorm new directions for your business. I figure out together why some of the current ideas and directions are not working. And as David so appropriately said, I ask a lot of questions, and together we'll develop new answers, not me all by myself. And why do? I invest my time, quite simply, to help others. That's my mission.
Awesome. Thanks, Randy. Okay, and for those that are just joining, the question is, who are you, what do you do, and why do you invest your time in networking? What's your one major reason for doing that? All right, Ricky Jean, you're up.
Yes, Ricky Jean Wright. I'm a singer-songwriter / entrepreneur since 19.
Whoa. Since 19, and he's gone. I guess he started when he was 19. Is that what
Right, he just lost his video.
No, he just lost everything. He
Yeah.
just he disappeared. The thing kind of flickered, you know.
He went back to before the internet.
Yeah, hopefully the that wasn't an indication of something bad moving this way or something.
No, he didn't pay his bill. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. All right. Well, Mike Del Toro, you're up then. I think are you new to this group, Mike?
I am. I'm a guest of John Moore. So great to
Awesome.
be here. Mike Del Toro, thank you, John, for inviting me. I'm with Five Diamond Club. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Five Diamond Club. We're an A+ rating, 5-star rating, Better Business Bureau accredited business. Been in the vacation industry since April of 1998. We used to cater for the airline employees only. We were an exclusive travel club. Now it's open to the general public since 2016. So trying to get the word out, and we're a vacation club subscription-based company. So we don't profit on the vacations itself like every other company. We pass everything at cost with our pre-negotiated rates, most since the late 90s, early 2000s. And we specialize in resorts and cruises. However, you save money on pretty much everything that's travel related worldwide in 195 countries. And the reason for me networking is really trying to get the word out there of Five Diamond Club, trying to build relationships and, helping people save money on their travel needs so they won't have to pay an arm and a leg on those expensive travel sites out there.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay. And by the way, if you haven't noticed in the chat, Jeff has posted links to a one-page worksheet as well as some of the offers and classes that he'll share with us during his talk. So those links are hot in the chat before we end the meeting. So I'd encourage you. The most effective way to do that is click on those links now, have them sit there in your browser, so when it ends, you can go back and bookmark or do whatever you're going to do. Now with the worksheet, go ahead and download it, print it off. You want to go along, or do like Randy and just take copious notes on whatever you can find around you. So I mean that's Randy's MO. So with that, by the way, I'm Dave Roberts. I'm I guess the chaperone for this crazy group of people on a weekly basis. So sometimes I feel like that. But welcome to Richardson Plano Networkers. Looks like we got Ricky Jean Wright back. And I was kind of stalling for a second. So Ricky, you kind of lost your thing. So you want to open back your mic back up and do what you were starting to do before you fell off the planet?
Well, if your battery says low, you should plug it in. So my battery just completely quit on me there. Sorry about that. Ricky Jean Wright, singer, songwriter / entrepreneur since 1994. And since 2010, that entrepreneur has been working in the merchant services credit card processing world. Why do I go to network marketing when I hope to get out of it? Well, actually, I'm going because my wife told me to go back in 2010. She said that I just can't sit around and hope that good things will happen. I need to go out and meet people. And so that's what I've done. And what I've discovered is that what happens to me in network marketing, even if it's music or if it's credit card processing, merchant services, there always seems to be a champion that comes around and becomes your champion and your great referral partner. And that's the reason why I keep doing it. Great.
Good job, Ricky. Thank you. And as I started to say, I'm Dave Roberts. I am the chaperone for this community. My real purpose in doing what I do, investing the 20 to 25 hours a week that I invest in keeping this community alive, thriving, and moving forward, is really to, first of all, change the world one dream at a time. If you don't know what that means, we haven't had enough of a conversation. You haven't been part of my vision challenge or other things. The other concept is we all need a team around us. We all need a community. And so building those relationships of people that trust you. We always say know, like, and trust you don't get to trust somebody if you don't know them or like them. So that's all part of a process. So my intention really here, and it is an intention of consistency with this group, is to continually contribute, plant seeds, and invest my time in networking with this community and any community that I participate in, so that I can add value to that community, be known for adding that value, and it's subsequently, if I can make an impact, that's my first priority. Second priority is actually monetizing. So if money comes, it's a beautiful thing. Money's a beautiful thing. You can do a lot of things, but it's not. When I retired in 05, that's what changed in my. I flipped the impact and then money from money and then impact. If that makes sense to you, you probably had a one-to-one with me. All right, so let's go. Randy, I'm going to. It's your turn to do your thing. I'd like for you to give a quick intro to our speaker, who's already shared a little bit of himself. But you guys, Randy and Jeff, go ahead and open your mics. I'm going to close mine, and let's get started.
All right, great. Well, welcome. Today is Friday, July 9th, 2021. And today we're going to hear about the 7 costly mistakes that networkers make from our guest speaker and good friend, Jeff Klein. Networking warriors work to find strategic partners, clients, and cultivate business relationships. But are we networking correctly and maximizing our networking possibilities? In this interactive event, Jeff will share what he's learned as an active networker and a networking guru. Jeff Klein is a speaker and trainer who has received rave reviews, speaking over 600 times, reaching over 15,000 business professionals. He's the author of 30 Seconds to Success, Generating Referrals with Your Elevator Pitch, and the upcoming Speaking as a Business Strategy, 9 Laws to Business Speaking Success. Following successful careers in advertising, marketing, and production, Jeff's individual and group programs assist professionals who are responsible for generating revenue, like all of us, to create great opportunities to sell. He continues to speak to trade organizations, sales organizations, national conventions, and business groups like ours. Please join with me in welcoming Mr. Jeff Klein.
Thank you, Randy. I'm thinking I keep forgetting, I want to record thunderous applause and then just play it when when the introduction happens, right? So if you haven't already, I posted it one more time. Please download the worksheet. If you click on the link, it'll take you right to it. It's a Word doc, so you can take notes right on it, which I encourage. And so when I started networking, I didn't even know what that meant. I actually networked before I knew what it was called. I was networking. When I moved from Shreveport, Louisiana, back to Dallas, halfway through college, I had 2 job interviews, both that came from networking. But again, I didn't know that's what it was called. I met 2 people at the racetrack when I was working as an usher at Louisiana Downs. One gal worked for Coca-Cola, another guy worked at Radio Shack, and those were the 2 places I interviewed. Wound up getting the Radio Shack, the inside job instead of the outside job, mainly because they didn't have any summer only spots left for the drivers. But anyway, so I was networking before I knew it. When I was in the film business back in the 80s and 90s, yes, I'm that old. I used to pass my business card out to every member of the crew, and they would say to me, I don't hire your job, why are you giving me your card? I said, because one day somebody near you is going to say, we need one of those guys, and you're going to say, oh, here's Jeff Klein, he's in my pocket or in my wallet, and you can call him. And I got work that way, and it actually got to be sort of a running gag that everybody on set had Jeff's card. So turned out I was a natural networker before I figured out that it was a thing. In 2001, I went to my first networking event officially. And when somebody said, oh, you've got a new business, you should come to our networking event. And I showed up. I had just opened Klein Creative Advertising, and I showed up at Prestonwood Country Club for a big lunch. Some of you may have been to this lunch. They've been going 20 something years now. And it was a room full of folks dressed everywhere from shorts and a t-shirt to a suit and a tie. I was somewhere in the middle, I think, business casual, I guess. And they were standing around in groups talking. Some of the groups were welcoming because they had their shoulders open. I don't know if you know this, that if you stand with your shoulders open, then people know they can walk in and talk to you. If you're standing squared off, then that means stay away. It's a body language thing. Some very friendly folks, some people that not so friendly. And we sat down for lunch, and the guy gets up, he starts talking about the group. He says, just a moment, we're all going to do our 30-second commercials. And I looked across at the friend who had invited me, and I said, you didn't tell me I was going to have to do anything. She said, don't worry, just do what everybody else does. Well, as we just heard, nobody does their commercial the same. So I listened to 40, 50 people do their commercials. Some were entertaining, some not so much. Some had made you laugh. Some ended with the whole room helping them end their commercial. And I got up, I said something, I sat down. Who knows what I said? I do know that whatever it was, it didn't get me any results. So that was sort of the start of my journey of figuring out how to make networking work. And I like to talk about winning at the game of networking. And one of the ways to win at the game of networking is to not be selfish. So on the worksheet, the 7 costing mistakes, the first mistake is being selfish. We've all met me networkers. The person who comes home from a networking event with the most cards is not the winner. And the person who comes home from the networking event having given out the most cards is also not the winner. After a networking event, you should come home with a several 2 or 3 cards with notes written on them that you can act on, and people that you're going to have one-on-ones with. If you haven't already picked up your computer and scheduled the one-on-one before you even left the room, that if you do it now, and then it'll actually happen. And if it's on your calendar, it'll also actually happen. And so selfish is the last thing you can be to be a successful networker. Many of you are familiar with BNI, Business Networking International. It's the largest networking organization in the world. What's their motto? Givers gain. And so you give to receive. And if you're not giving in your networking, you will not receive in your networking. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a two-way, limited locked-in loop. So if I'm giving Don referrals, and that doesn't mean that I'm going to beat Don up if he doesn't give me referrals. I'm only going to give Don a hard time if he doesn't give somebody referrals. Now, when you enter into a partnership and you agree that you're going to feed each other business, that's different. But when you're in a group like this, like on Wednesdays, you want to make sure that you're giving to the group, but you should not hold somebody up if they don't meet somebody that you're looking to meet. I mean, don't. But it's holistic. So as long as everybody's giving, it works. And we've all seen where it breaks down when people stop, right? I'll say one more thing about referrals, and this actually goes into the second mistake, and that is holding back. Some people only give referrals to somebody they know, like, and trust. That's a recommendation. You should recommend people, but I believe giving referrals does not have to be a recommendation as long as you qualify the introduction, right? So, and here's an example. I mean, Lloyd and I have known each other a long time, but let's say we just met and he's talking about home bills, and I have a friend moving to Dallas. I would have no problem saying to this friend, hey, this guy was talking about saving people money on their bills. I just met him, but you should talk to him and see if he can help you in your new house. am I exposing myself to any kind of ramifications if it doesn't work out? I don't think so. That's the main reason people don't give referrals right away is because they're worried that it'll tarnish their reputation. And if you do it the right way, it won't. Now, what I do want to add a little note here, please, if you have a question, unmute yourself and ask me, because I don't want this to be a lecture. I want this to be as much of a conversation as possible. Okay, so jump in and ask so that you're not stuck wondering about the answer to your question and you might miss something later. Okay, so being selfish, holding back. I know with this particular group, there's probably not a lot of questions about that because I know most of you. So assuming is the third costly mistake. And some people don't realize that they know who they want to meet. So they assume that everybody else knows who they want to meet. When somebody tells me networking doesn't work, I ask them 3 questions. The number 1 question is, are you giving referrals? The number 2 question is, are you having one-on-ones? And the number 3 question is, do people know who you want to meet? Now, we've all been to the chamber where every realtor says, I want to looking to meet somebody who wants to buy or sell a house. We've heard a beauty rep say, I'm looking to meet somebody with skin. We've heard chiropractors say, I'm looking to meet somebody with a spine. They're wasting their time with those kind of asks because first of all, I can't help them I can't introduce them to everybody in my phone. Your job when you're doing the 30-second commercial specifically is to give us one person that we can introduce you to dig through all the other stuff, all the information coming at us every single day. Tell me a little 30-second story that leads me to the job title of somebody I know that I can introduce you to, or the job title of somebody I've just met, or even I'm about to meet. If you tell a good story, I'll remember next week that you wanted to meet lawyers, and the lawyer I meet next week could get introduced to you because you made me remember. Does that make sense? So,
Hey, Jeff, could you repeat
yes.
those things you asked? Are you giving referrals?
Yes. Are you giving referrals? Are you having one-on-ones? And do people know who you want to meet?
Okay.
Thank you, Lloyd. If you're not niching, if you're not having created, some people call it an avatar nowadays, if you haven't created a profile, 2 or 3 of who your best customer is, who you solve the most problems for, who is your most profitable prospect, then you need to work on that. Yes, sir, John.
Your worksheet, at least on my end, didn't download correctly. It's got errors in it.
I think a couple of people were able to download and print it.
John, I think it's on your end because it
Okay.
works fine on.
It could well be. Thank you.
Okay. Lloyd.
So this is interesting because my business, I do a lot of things. I offer a lot of services. So my ideal client for each one of those is separate, is different. Where do you come down on, doing, like doing 3 or 4 or 5 ideal clients? Maybe just doing one this week and one next week.
Yeah. Well, so I know a lot about you, as you know, I know a lot about your business. There are, you could group the products, group the services. This group of services is for these 2 avatars, these 3 avatars. This group of business is for these. So, because you actually now, especially with the new with the new turnover, you've got a bigger collection of people for small businesses and more things for homeowners, for residential. So you've got business to consumer and business to business. So the answer is yes, you want to create avatars for each segment, each piece of your business. And then what the avatars lead you to is who the partners can be for that business. And that's, I'll get to that. I'll touch on that in a little while. Yeah, Ricky, did you have your hand up?
One thing that I discovered, I guess, trial and error about what Lloyd is talking about is that I may have something more in common with, let's say, automobile mechanics shops or plumbing shops or air conditioning, and I don't have that much in common with a doctor or a dentist office or something. So I have what I offer. Everybody can use,
Right.
but I just don't have a connection with everybody.
And that's a perfect description of why you should segment and niche to be successful, because niching, choosing those avatars, it's also about who you're going to resonate the most with, who you're going to be the most successful with. So what you're saying is you're talking about blue collar workers and blue collar businesses more than white collar businesses. And niching is about making choices of how you're going to spend your time, money, and effort. It's not about saying no to somebody. If a doctor calls you and says, I need help with my credit card processing, you're going to say, absolutely. But you're not going to spend a lot of time, money, and effort pursuing doctors. Randy.
I was thinking while Lloyd was talking, my first comment is don't be first. Listen a lot to what other people are saying about themselves. And then as you hear them, rather than hit them with the whole enchilada, your list of 14 things that you do, try to be prepared enough to hit them with one that might fit. And then, and you're going to be there next week and the week after. And so eventually you'll get a sense of what that group needs.
Yeah, and if you're not there the next week and the week after, you need to evaluate if you're going to be part of that networking group or not. Speaking from the leader
yes,
of
networking is about consistency. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not about intensity. It's never about intensity. You can be intense, come in and turn everybody off, and then never come back, and you're not going to get a single lead. But if you're consistent, that's a form of leadership. And frankly, that communicates more than any words you use in any part of your thing. So that's just my point of view. Bill Harrison, I saw him.
Yeah, quite. What I wanted to mention is that when you're looking for opportunities to offer your services to somebody, what you want to try and focus on is what are the perceived needs of your target market. And sometimes that requires a little bit of research to determine what is it they're really looking for. So rather than just trying to sell them what you have to offer, what you want to find out is what are they really looking for? And is that something that I can address for them? And then the people that you want to meet are the people that have this particular need, whatever your research shows, these are the needs that you most identify with.
Absolutely, Bill. And it comes down to what Ziegler taught all of us. It's all about solving people's problems. If you solve if the problem is critical enough, I will pay you to solve it. If I don't feel the pain, I'm not going to act on it until I feel the pain. So whose problems do you solve, and how do you solve them, and all that good stuff. Absolutely. And what I suggest, if you're a little fuzzy on what niche to go after and things like that, get with a marketing person, get with somebody like Don who understands that, get with Randy, and create that avatar out of the problems you solve that are most profitable for you. Don't forget that, because we could all spend time on the 80% of people or the 20% of people who take up 80% of our time instead of the 20% of people who give us 80% of our profit. So also, we are in business to succeed. So don't forget that. And again, I'm not saying don't help people because it's all about helping people, but let's not help people to the point where you're not being helped. because you deserve compensation for helping people. All right, so the next of the 7 costly mistakes is recruiting. And that comes to, a lot of us are in direct sales organizations. And if you come to a meeting like this or an in-person networking meeting and you talk about what a great opportunity you have for somebody to make extra money, and you want to meet my friend who's ready to do that, well, guess what? If I have a great prospect who's ready for a second job, a second opportunity, or a side hustle, or whatever you call it, whose opportunity am I going to give them? Mine or yours? Right? Now, I may fall if they don't like mine, then I might give them yours. But the point is, networking groups, especially during the elevator pitch, not the place to recruit. Now, if you adopt the principles of networking I'm talking about, you can ask for referral partners who can lead you to prospects. I'm a big advocate, and I've taught thousands of people how to network instead of picking up your phone and calling all your friends and telling them your why. That works for some people. I don't think it works for most people in 2021. Times have changed, and most of our friends have been hit on by several people to get into a side business, some of them by us already. Right? And they're becoming immune to those offers. And good gosh, don't invite them to dinner and make it be a recruiting meeting. Don't do that to them. That's the old days. I actually
or lunch or a Zoom
exactly or coffee or
coffee or a drink. Just
exactly.
Invest the time. And I don't ever like to use the term spend. We don't spend our time. If you're spending your time, you're wasting your time. You need to invest your time. You need to be intentional, and that's what you're teaching us, Jeff.
Absolutely.
We need to be intentional. We need to know why. And again, I would only edit the why part of it is how you deliver your why is different in 2021. I would agree with that.
I'm not saying do away with your why, but
I would also say that most people I talk to in one-to-ones, even today, don't know their why. They don't.
There's a lot of that.
They don't articulate their why in a way that connects. And I'll use the schizophrenia of some people who have 15 different referrals that they can make or ways that they can make money. And by the way, I have over 100 agency and affiliate agreements myself. But if you don't know why I'm offering this, it's just like, okay, what is, and I'll fill in the blank because I could give you like 3 names on this call, on this Zoom right now. What is blank into these days?
Yeah.
And I still don't know why, really.
Well, and there's also, this is something that I've been fortunate enough that I learned I have a skill at. People can't articulate what they do. And fortunately, I adopted the title wordsmith when I realized that was a skill not everybody has. I could spend 10 minutes with somebody and give them a 10-second way to say what they do. And that's important nowadays when you invest your time and when you have 10 seconds. If your video online is too long, I'm not watching it. So you have to have that, be able to be what I call pithy. That's one of my favorite words. Pithy. If you need to look it up, go ahead. Pithy. All right. So the next step that networkers make is they try to inform us. They want to teach us everything about their business. And I got to tell you, number one, we don't care. I mean, I don't want to be mean. But I break it to you. We don't care. As a networker, what I care about is if you'll tell me who you want to meet, I will make introductions to you. I will be your advocate if you show up. But if you try to teach me about my credit score or about I don't have a foundation because I rent an apartment, but you're still trying to teach me about foundation repair. You're not helping yourself. That 30-second commercial is to tell me who you are and who you want to meet, not teach me the latest trend in your industry. Same thing with spotlights. When you do a 10-minute spotlight in a group, if you can use that to inform, but if that spotlight doesn't include a handout with a list of your avatars of who you want to meet and who your partners are, you're not investing your time as wisely as you could. You should have a handout when you do a spotlight, and it should have who you want to meet that I can take home with me. I once quit a group because I had a spotlight, and I actually created advertising bingo back when I had an ad agency. And every square was a statement somebody would make that meant introduce them to Jeff. And it was everything from, we're moving to the phone's not ringing enough, all those, and I created, 50 or 60 statements to be able to do 20 bingo cards. And at the end of the meeting, after I had done this, we went through 2 rounds of bingo, and I was packing up, and most everybody had left. And I looked around the table, and half of the people had left the bingo cards behind. And I knew instantly that was not the room for me. They didn't care enough to take that thing home to be able to remind them of who I want to meet, or at least pretend you care about who I want to meet by taking it home and throwing it away at home. They left it on the table, and that was the last time I attended that meeting. You've got to hang with people who are givers if you're networking. The whole point of networking is to become each other's advocates. And that kind of walks right into the next mistake, and that's where people don't ask for what they need. They spend too much time trying to either ask for customers or giving us the latest trend in roofing tiles. I gotta tell you, I mean, I am in an apartment, but I have given roofer referrals because my mom has a house, and I referred a guy who got to sell her a roof after some hail damage. But I didn't give that referral to the guy because all he did was talk about roofing all the time. And that's so. Here's something to well, okay. I want to go back a half a step and talk a little bit about back to niching just briefly, because financial people, insurance people, I've done a ton of training for people in those kind of industries. And yes, everybody who buys a house is going to need a mortgage. Everybody who buys a house is going to need a title person. How do they stand out? Everybody needs insurance. If you want to drive a car, you're not driving it legally in Texas without insurance. But if they niche, if they pick somebody they have an affinity with. So I've done a lot of training with new agency owners for insurance. And it's like, okay, what is your hobby? You ride motorcycles, go hang out, don't join a gang, but find a motorcycle club, find Facebook groups on motorcycles, and network, meet those people. And once they become, acquaintances and friends, and then, business will come, because you talk about business when you ask people when you're talking to get to know somebody, you ask them, what do they do? And with insurance, once you get one line, then you can get an opportunity to quote other lines. So motorcycles, boating, motorhomes, and whatever your hobby is, start there. Same thing with financial advisors. Boy, I had a guy, and this will help you with the when somebody asks to have a one-on-one, but what they're really asking for is a meeting to sell you something. I had a lot of New York Life coffees when I first started networking because I didn't know how to get out of them, and I didn't know any better. Here's the way to get out of that kind of meeting is say, I am available for a networking one-on-one where we share who we each want to get to know and who we're looking to meet to do business. I'm not looking for a financial advisor. I'm not looking for a side hustle. And if you're clear, they will, and their intention was to sell you, then they won't have the meeting. I had a guy call me. He used to do personal training, and I had worked with him a little bit. And he calls me and, hey, Jeff, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. I'm calling because I want to take you to dinner. I said, and I was like, well, what's going on? And he said, well, I'm doing this now. And I said, look, I would love to have dinner with you and catch up. But if you want to have dinner with me to pitch me on you taking over my finances, I'm not available for that. I'm good on that. But I'd love to get together and meet. And the response I got was, oh man. And we didn't have dinner. Now I could have let him buy me. I could have got a free dinner out of it, but that wouldn't have been fair to him or me. So the way to get out of that is tell them you're ready for a networking meeting. All right. Any questions or any other comments so far?
No, I think that that's part of, Jeff, that's very consistent. And fundamentally, that's why in our group, you have to be a qualified member to qualify somebody as having a one-to-one with you and meeting your 3 one-to-one requirements to be a member is simply because, we've all had those one-to-ones where as soon as the one-to-one started, the person started talking and didn't shut up for 45 minutes about what
they brought out their presentation.
They brought out their presentation, and then but when they finally took a breath, I have actually a example that always comes to my mind when I start talking here, and they basically, I said, okay, that's all great. Are you married? Do you have a family? Why do you do what you do? Where do you spend most of your time? Do you like to golf? Do you like to do, I mean, I started asking questions that had absolutely nothing to do with it. And I'm not even sure that individual ever really got, because they build themselves as an experienced networker of 25 years or something. And I went, yeah, no, you're not a networker by the kind of definition that I have and the one you're actually advocating.
Absolutely. Lloyd.
Yeah, I actually had a one-on-one with a lady, and she invited me to her home, nice home, and we sat down. We talked about an hour, and at the end of the hour, she pulled out this contract for me to sign. It was all filled in and highlighted where I need to sign. She talked for an hour about her business, and I'm thinking in my head, I was fairly inexperienced at the time, but I'm thinking in my head, something's not right. This is not what a one-on-one is supposed to be.
Wow.
But yeah, she had the contract all filled out. I'm sorry, but not happening.
Randy.
I'm going to steal Bill Harrison's comment in the chat, and he said the real purpose of networking is to develop new relationships, and I say amen to that. Because once you do the relationships, okay, then you can decide, you can find stuff out without having to be, to ask direct questions.
Yeah. And what I'll say, Randy, is I see developing new relationships as part of the process of networking, an important part. But there are 2 reasons that we network. We network to grow our business. We network to help other people grow theirs. Everything else is part of the process. So, but if you're not building relationships, you're not successfully going to build your business or help other people build theirs, certainly. So here's what happens. And this is, again, the talk is about mistakes. So the one of the mistakes that people make is I'll just tell you the story. So imagine the roofer we talked about earlier. If he comes to the meeting week in and week out and says, we're going to have a storm this week, so I want to meet all your friends who have hail damage. When you need a new roof, I'm the guy. I know how to work with insurance agencies. We got this new tile that's got a lifetime guarantee for your house. All this stuff about roofing, and that's his 30-second commercial rhetoric. He's only going to get referrals of immediate problems. I need a roof now. My neighbor needs a roof now. My mom needs a roof now. That's not how you build a business. And that's certainly not how you win at the game of networking. If he comes in and one week he asks to meet a tree surgeon, and the next week he asks to meet a guy who does fencing, and the next week he asks to meet your pool person, and the next week he has to meet a carpet cleaner, et cetera, and then he meets with those people, picks the ones that can be good partners for him, because when it comes to these asks, it's a potential partner when you make the ask. You've got to kiss a lot of frogs before you meet those princes and princesses that can be true referral partners. And so he's building and filling a pipeline of people who go to houses every day and know 10 people a day whether or not they need a new roof, right? That's how you build a network, and that's how you get people, because everybody in the room, if they see him every week, are going to think of him when somebody needs a roof, and he's going to get to quote those jobs. But if he builds that referral team, that's how to really explode and expand the business. Ricky.
So I have met the worst serial, networkers from people who are desperate, and they got to have sales. They've got to have money. It's a desperation thing. I think people need to be told right up front. You probably need to go to a network meeting a year, not expecting to have any kind of sales, depending on what kind of business it is. If you're an air conditioning repair guy and a guy needs something real fast, well, maybe so. But I actually went to my first network meeting 1 year. And after 1 year, the host of that meeting, or one of the hosts, said, "Well, you've been here a year. Let's do business together." They were just waiting to see if I was going to stick around.
Well, but so I'm gonna respectfully disagree, Ricky Jean.
Okay.
Because that way, when somebody is only going to do business with you when you invest 12 months of lunches, that's not a networking group. That's a leads group, where all the business is happening in the room. There's a really good chance that during that year, that person had a chance to introduce you to somebody having a party who needed a musician, or somebody that had a new business that needed credit card processing. Or if you again, if you're asking to meet referral partners, there is no downside to making a referral partner introduction. A good referral partner for credit card processing is a commercial lease guy, commercial lending. I mean, commercial lending. I was thinking of commercial real estate. Sorry, because they know when somebody's moving into a new space, and credit card processing is one of the things you got to have when you have a new business. So if they're not willing to introduce you to a potential partner where you're both going to win, they don't have to be willing to introduce you after the first time, but if they're not willing to introduce you after 2 or 3 months of having lunch with them, I don't believe that's a good networker.
Well, I disagree with you, because that networking group and that person became one of the most champions of my referral partners that I've ever had, and still is today.
And that's great. And
what I'm saying is that the desperation.
I agree with you about that.
Have to have either they have to have so many sales meetings, or their boss gets rid of them.
Yeah.
Or they truly have to have a sale commission wise. Those are the worst kind of
if
people
you're
I've run
desperate.
across.
Yeah, if you're desperate, you reek of desperation, and nobody will buy from you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go back again and position the reason the thing to do when you're coming to the group is to ask to meet partners and find people in the room that you can partner with, of course. And if most of the business, and I know the group you're talking about, I went there for several years myself, and most of the business in that room, it happens in the room. They're all doing business with each other. I attended a 75-year-old group one of the places I spoke, and there are 3 generations of networkers in that room. One guy, the one generation is a home inspector, another generation is a locksmith, and there's literally father, son, and grandfather that go to breakfast every week at this group. But when they did their thank yous, they thanked people for closed business from each other. They were not giving referrals, they were selling to each other. That's not, that group works because there's 75 years, and there's 50, 60 people in the room, and they're all happy with their results. Networking is about becoming an advocate for the people in the room. So, and I agree with most of what you're saying, and we disagree on a little bit. That's all.
Okay, Jeff, we're gonna need to kind of
land the plane.
Yeah, so I want to make sure you get your offers out and all that stuff. So we
Thanks, David. So the last of the 7 mistakes is a noise because I wanted the acronym of the 7 things to be sharing. So GER is the last mistake because that's all about the people who sell to the room. Don't sell to the room. If all you change after this talk today is by stopping saying, here's how we help you, and instead say, here's how we help our customers, you will get more business from the room because you're not selling to the room. And again, we're not here to get business from the room. It happens organically because you build relationships. But your message should be about what you do for your clients, not what you can do for the people in the room. And occasionally you deviate from that if you're an insurance agent, and you can absolutely say, if your insurance agent is a website, we should have a conversation. If you don't have an annual meeting with your insurance agent, or they don't annually review your coverage, you need a better insurance agent. Okay, so occasionally you can mention why you're better to the room, but couch it in, this is how we help our clients. But I love, and this is something I think every networking group should adopt. Don't do business with websites. That should be a mantra. So there's as I mentioned a few times or alluded to, I teach the elevator pitch, and I also teach people how to figure out who their referral partners are. I do that in a 2-hour class, and the link is in the chat, and I'll actually post it one more time. And there's a discount code that will save you $200 on the class. It'll be $197 for the 2 hours. I will teach you how to do a new commercial, and then you will have the tools to create new commercials on your own. But you also have the rights to contact me for future help after you take a workshop. If you're not ready for that, the do-it-yourself version is also there. There's a link to get the $20 MP3 through AppSumo, and that I've sold 5,000-6,000 of those. It will help you. People listen to it in the car on the way to a networking group. And the third way that we can work together is have me come to your group and speak. I bring a cadre of other speakers with me. So if you're responsible for finding speakers for a group, or you want to really be the best friend of the person who is responsible for finding those speakers, get them in touch with me. One of the links I've included is my calendar link as well, and my LinkedIn. So at least let's make sure we're connected on LinkedIn. But I'm definitely always open for a 30-minute Zoom to figure each other out and see how we can help each other. So I'll just run through the 7 real quick, and then, as Dave says, land the plane. Don't be selfish. Don't hold back. Don't assume we know who you want to meet. Please don't recruit in your 30-second commercial. Don't just inform. Tell us who you want to meet. Ask for who you want to meet. Actually say, the person I'm looking to meet this week is a proctologist, whatever the ask is. And if you do nothing else, stop selling to the room and talking about how you help us, and tell us how you help your customers. My name is Jeff Klein. I've been teaching this since 2004. let's all win at the game of networking.
Awesome. Good job. All right. Good job, Jeff.
Thank you.
And that was awesome, and appreciate that. Any other questions? We've got about time for maybe one more question. If anybody has it, go ahead and open your mic. Anybody? Okay.
I have a question, but it's going to take up too much time. This is complex.
Okay.
Try
Well,
me.
let's do. Well, actually, let's do this. Let's thank you, Lloyd, for being sensitive to the time. What I will do, as always, is the mic will remain open. The meeting will remain live until everybody's kind of exhausted themselves. Kind of like if we were in the room and the speaker's done talking, and then everybody rushes to the speaker and talks to him for another half hour. We accomplish that kind of in a similar way. So just like we do when the meeting was starting with the check-in. So if you didn't get a chance to do your 30 seconds, if you didn't get a chance to ask the question you wanted to ask, I'll remain around. Jeff, will you hang out for a little bit? Okay, so Jeff will be around and we can do that. Again, thank you, Jeff. As always, I appreciate your participation in our community. I appreciate the speakers that you do bring to the table for us. They've been very valuable, and your talk today has also been extremely valuable to us, so I appreciate that. For those who haven't seen the announcement for next week, I'll talk about here next Friday's Mastermind. We have launched the 2021 Summer of Success. And as you'll see in the announcement of this series, it's not just one event, it'll be a series of events where the statement is, I make the statement that anybody who's achieved any level of notoriety or success in their business or in life is doing things that other people won't do. And one of the things people generally don't do during the summer is commit to new things or look towards growth because they're trying to take vacations. And that's okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But in the spirit of RP Networkers and our community, we're going to say, we're going to provide an opportunity for those who want to make 2021 the summer of success to really invest and get real intentional with not only hearing great talks and information from people like Jeff and others we've brought in, or as well as that, but also understand what kind of goals and actions we need to be taking to apply that learning within our business and benefit from each other's insights as we tackle a lot of our challenges together. So that's the intention of the series. We will still be bringing in speakers. Jeff, as I talked to him about before we started, this will still be a platform. It'll actually be, I think, a very positive way for speakers to engage with our community because our intention will be applying what they're teaching to gaps that we all know when we've been masterminding together throughout the summer and hopefully beyond. If it's effective, we'll continue to do it. That's what we do here. So